The scriptures say, without a vision, the people perish. To become something more than a random collection of competing self-interests, we need a better way, a vision strong enough to sustain the common good, especially when times are hard.
This is an historic occasion. For today, your executive committee will present a plan for the orderly termination of the Maine Council of Churches.
The Maine Council of Churches grew from seeds planted on September 14, 1869, when the Maine State Sunday School Association was formed in Lewiston. The association was a response to the growing sense among evangelical Christians that much could be gained by Christian cooperation. The founders and leaders of the Sunday School Association were leaders within their own denominations as well. They were Calvinistic Baptists and Free Will Baptists, Christians, Congregationalists, and Methodists. Among the association's leaders were Benjamin Clark Jordan, the Alfred Lumberman Sunday school teacher and Bates College benefactor. Hilda Libby Ives, one of Maine's pioneering women in ministry, and one of those who created the larger parish model, so ardently embraced by philanthropist John D. Rockefeller. And Carl Milliken, one-time governor of Maine. The association expressed concerns that were genuine to the times, including the concern for children and youth in rural Maine where no church had been planted, the concern for the limitations of religious instruction that centered on recitation and memorization, the concern for moral decay brought to Maine through poverty, and finally, the grave peril to society posed by American boys growing to manhood without strong moral compass. By the beginning of the 20th century, the Maine Sunday School Association represented more than 1,000 Sunday schools, with 12,000 officers and teachers and 100,000 scholars. By 1924, the perspective of the Maine State Sunday School Association had changed. The common ground of the association widened with the use of the new medium of radio to reach children and adults in the farthest reaches of Maine. With this success in establishing a broader outreach, the Sunday School Association changed its name to the Council of Religious Education and invited the Unitarians and the Religious Society of Friends into the council. This was the first serious test for the newly created Council of Religious Education. The Baptists, who were all for Sunday schools, were leery of the new religious mix, especially the inclusion of Unitarians, and they said so.
If individual Baptist congregations want to cooperate with the council, naturally they can. As for your board, however, for the present at least, we are withholding cooperation and refusing to assume responsibility either for the program or its financial support.
The American Baptists would soon withdraw from the Council of Religious Education and in 1940 declined to join the Maine Council of Churches. On October 31, 1938, Reformation Day in the Protestant calendar, and nearly 70 years after the founding of the Sunday School Association, the Maine Council of Churches is organized in Lewiston. Ironically, the organizational meeting takes place at the United Baptist Church. 4 Protestant denominations become the council's founding members: Congregational Christian, Methodists, Unitarians, and the Religious Society of Friends. Additional denominations would continue to join in the coming years, but growing membership is not a primary concern. Almost immediately, world events dictate that the attention of the new council be directed to the impending war. Less than a year after the council is formed, Germany invades Poland and Europe is plunged into World War II. On December 7, 1941, the Empire of Japan attacks Pearl Harbor, and 5 days later, the United States Congress enters the war. The port of South Portland becomes a major staging area. In the next 4 years, the Portland shipyards will supply more than 10% of all the Liberty ships built during World War II. At the height of the war, the shipyard employs 30,000 people, including thousands of women who take over the jobs vacated by men going into the service. The Maine Council of Churches supported the common good by employing 6 full-time social workers to identify needs and coordinate service activities in the defense housing areas in Portland and Portsmouth. The Council also helps Mainers reflect on the deeper questions raised by the war. In 1942, it produces a weekly newspaper series entitled Spiritual Foundations of Freedom that runs in 20 weekly and daily Maine newspapers. Building on the earlier success of the Maine Sunday School Association in 1944, the Council creates its first radio broadcast of the long-running program Church School of the Air, heard Sunday mornings on the stations of the Maine Broadcasting System. Miss Marian Ulmer inspires this broadcast and leads the Council of Churches as its executive secretary for most of its first 25 years.